Hello, beautiful vloggers. It's your girl Shay, and I am coming to you right now with the season 9, episode 8 review and recap for Real Housewives of New York. And the episode is titled Return of the Berzerkshires. So it's the Berkshires, but it's berserk. It went berserk, whatever. So, anyhow, the episode starts off with Bethenny. And usually the episode starts with Bethenny, so we shouldn't be surprised. But it starts with her selling her apartment. She revealed, I think in the last episode, that she found a new apartment, so she was moving. And she has Frederick over, Frederick from $1 Million Listing New York. He's a big-time real estate broker. And he's over there, and they're valuing her apartment. I think they're selling it for $5 million and some change, which is a lot of money. And it's a really nice apartment, so it'll probably go quickly. What I thought was interesting about that part was watching the flashback to 2015 when she was crying to Frederick about some things that were going on with her. They didn't really show the part where she cried about being the richest homeless person, but yeah, that was that part, and that was the most annoying scene ever. I could not believe that a woman with her money was sitting around crying, talking about she was the richest homeless person. It was just ridiculous. I thought that was, and she still doesn't think it was anything wrong with that. I think Andy Cohen asked her about it not too long ago, and she still kind of defended it. She doesn't think it was anything wrong with it. I thought that was the most annoying thing. I really do like Bethenny, but it was just so annoying to hear her talk about being the richest homeless person when she had a mansion in the Hamptons, a multi-million-dollar home in the Hamptons, and staying in a presidential suite in a hotel, and you're sitting in the back of a vehicle with a driver, chauffeuring you around, and a broker who only deals in multi-million-dollar real estate, but you're the richest homeless person. I get that you were crying because, you were going through a hard time, you had a daughter, and you were going through a divorce, but that scene irks me every time. I am so sorry, but it irks me every single time. And the fact that she doesn't think there was anything wrong with it is just like, ugh, girl. Stop. Anyway, so yeah, that happened. And then we get to the next scene, which is Luann. She's hanging out with Tom, and they're taking a walk in the park. I think they're really cute. A lot of people are hating on their relationship right now, and this episode was all about them and the rumors about them and all this stuff. But they look pretty happy together. And he was saying something about, oh, you spoil me and all this stuff. So he seems happy with her. She seems happy with him. And they were discussing where they were gonna go for their reunion. Not their reunion. Crap. I just watched a TV show reunion. Now I'm thinking about a reunion. I mean their honeymoon. They were thinking about where they're gonna go for their honeymoon. And I think she was saying like South Africa or something like that, which would be really nice. So yeah, I think their relationship is cute, but they get a lot of shade, and they got some in this episode. So while they're doing their whole walk in the park thing, on the other side of town, Carole and Ramona have met up, and Ramona is telling Carole about these rumors that she's heard. Well, not really rumors. She's reading about, like a text message she received from a woman who she didn't want to give the woman's name. So she said, we'll just call her Ann. And the woman is supposedly Tom's ex. And she's saying that Tom was kissing her and sort of like forcing himself on her in a way. I don't really know how to describe it because it didn't go into that much detail. Just supposedly something about him shoving his tongue down her throat and groping her, and she's supposed to be the ex or whatever. And this happened recently, for this filming, and I guess it was like it had just happened the week before she told Carole about it. So yeah, there's still more drama surrounding Tom. I thought that they were going to leave it in last season, but this season carries on, more about Tom. Why am I not surprised? But, I kind of do wonder if it's true or if it's just like people being haters, because now that, the story is out that, Tom is a cheater, or that he cheated on Luann at the Regency and was kissing another woman last year. Now you're going to have people who are going to come out the woodwork and just say anything to get attention. But then again, if the woman doesn't want her name mentioned, maybe she's not just doing it for attention, because if she was doing it for attention, she wouldn't care if you knew her name. So, yeah. Maybe he really did it. I don't know. That's the crazy part. It's like, I want to be happy for Luann so bad, but there's so many red flags. It's just insanity. And, they were talking about Carole was bringing up how last episode there was the party. It was Dorinda's party that she threw. It was like a fundraiser or whatever, and she met up with Luann's friend Barbara, who was also at the party. And Barbara was talking a lot of crap about Tom and Luann and everything, and that Tom is up to his old tricks. He hasn't really changed. That he's still cheating. He's still talking to other women. He's still kissing other women. He still hangs out at the Regency. This is all the stuff that this lady Barbara was saying last episode, that he still hangs out at the Regency, and that Luann she kind of hinted that maybe Luann knows that he's cheating. She hinted at that, and I was just like, the ladies have already kind of started saying, or not started saying, been saying for a while that Luann and her ex, the Count, had an open marriage. So it kind of like plays to what they've already been saying about her, that, she is somebody who turns the other cheek when the person is cheating. And the friend, so-called friend, quote unquote, Barbara from last episode said something about it's pathetic and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what kind of friend is sitting there talking to Carole about Luann's business? Because if Barbara was really her friend, then she knows that Luann and Carole have had it out quite a few times, in the past couple of years. So of all the people you could talk to, why would you tell somebody who Luann has had issues with in the past? To me, that's not a real friend. If you're really my friend, even if you think I'm not listening or you think I'm doing my own thing anyway, because she says that Barbara doesn't think that Luann is really hearing her or something like that. But even if you think that you told me something and I wasn't paying attention and you're worried for me or whatever, of all the people you could tell, why would you tell somebody I've been arguing with or fighting with? So to me, that says that her friend Barbara may not really be a good friend, because a good friend is not going to sit there and tell your personal business, whether it's rumors or whatever, to somebody that they know you have fought with or argued with or had a beef with. So it just really, to me, seems odd that Barbara is her so-called friend, and then Barbara is sitting there talking all this stuff about her relationship to Carole when she knows full well that Carole and Luann have had it out for years over Adam and some other things. So I just was like, you're not really a friend, because if you were, Carole is the last person you would be telling that to, especially because everybody knows how tight Carole and Bethenny are. And you can't tell me that you don't think that Carole's going to go back and give that information to Bethenny, and Bethenny was the one who outed the cheating and all that stuff last year. It's like, what real friend would do that? I think that Luann may want to watch who she calls friend, because that was not the move of a good friend, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why. So, yeah, that happened. And then, Dorinda is having her party. I love Dorinda. I said, I have to say, she is my favorite New York housewife. And I think her birthday is like sometime in December. And I'm a Sagittarius. My birthday is December. And, I love her just because her birthday is in December. She might be a Sagittarius, or she could be a Capricorn. Not sure. But anyway, I like Dorinda. She's fun. So she's having all the ladies up to the Berkshires. And she's actually inviting Sonia this time, it was such a big deal that she didn't want Sonia there last year. And Sonia held that grudge all the way up into the reunion. And then they had the whole argument where she basically implied that Dorinda was like a cokehead or something, like a drug addict or whatever. And then this year, Sonia's still been talking crap about not being invited to the Berkshires. So then Dorinda's like, okay, fine. I'm just going to invite her because, maybe she will get over it and it won't ruin her year this year. I thought that was funny. I'm going to invite you just so you can get over yourself and stop whining about it. And then after that, you had a couple of the other ladies coming. I think that Dorinda had them all coming in different shifts. She was like, this group is coming at one time, this group is coming at another time. And Sonia is actually the one who got there first. I was surprised to see that Sonia was in good spirits. She got there. She didn't, say anything crazy to Dorinda, because Dorinda will rip you a new one, which is part of why I like her, because she doesn't put up with any crap. And she came with Ramona, who is her sometimes friend, because Ramona has not been that good of a friend to Sonia in the past couple of years, but that's just my opinion. Well, anyway, yeah, that happened. And then while they were there on the other, I won't say the other side of town, I think they were in the Berkshires, and Tinsley was still, I believe, in New York City, and she was hanging out with her mom, and her mom brought her father's, I think it was his ashes, and, you know, they had that moment talking about her dad who had passed away. I thought that was really sad. And then they started talking about Sonia, and Tinsley's mom is like, you know, are you being like sweet to her? Are you being nice to her? Do you bring her cookies and all this stuff? And I think that Tinsley was sort of trying to hint and tell her mom, like, you know, Sonia's not being that nice to me lately. But I don't know if her mom was really hearing it. But I think that her mom is probably like, you know, really about like, hey, you got to have good manners. You know, she's letting you stay with her and all this stuff, which is true. That's really nice. But Sonia has been kind of, I won't say rude, but she's just kind of been all over Tinsley about like little things. She's just kind of nitpicking her at this point. That's kind of how I feel that Sonia's just nitpicking this thing, that thing. Like the stuff that she gets on Tinsley about are not, to me, are not a big deal, but to Sonia, obviously, you know, Sonia's dramatic anyway, so that's a whole other story. And then finally, after meeting up with her mom, she does arrive, and she sees Ramona and Sonia, and they're trying to like start a fire at the fireplace, and I thought that was funny and cute, and they couldn't get that together. And then in the meantime, they had the scene with Carole. She was going Christmas shopping, I believe, with Adam's parents, and that was really cute to see her with the parents, you know, knowing that his parents like her. But what I found out about that was like 2 or 3 episodes ago, Carole's mom said she had never met Adam. So it's kind of weird to see that Carole is hanging out with Adam's parents, but Carole's parents haven't met Adam. So it's just like, it's just weird. Like, I don't know. Carole's relationship with Adam to me is weird. It's not even the age difference, because I don't care about that. I think as far as age goes, nobody says anything to men when they're dating younger women. So let her date who she wants to. But I just was like, first of all, why would you be cool with his parents, but he wouldn't even meet your mom yet? Like, that's kind of weird. And then the whole shacking up thing, she wants to keep calling it shacking up, and then they've been together for like 2 years, and Bethenny even pointed out, like, it's kind of weird that they've been together for like 2.5 years, and she doesn't want to live with him. Like, that cannot be a good sign for their relationship. It's just, I mean, she says they're happy, but I don't know. I like Carole, though. She has her moments where she's kind of boring on the show. It kind of feels sometimes like she's just like with Bethenny all the time, and when she's not with Bethenny, then it's just like her storyline is either she doesn't want to live with Adam, or, you know, before that was election, so at least we got to finish talking about that. We don't have to keep talking about that now, but for a while I was just like, ugh, girl. Like, I don't want to say that to me Carole is the Cynthia of Real Housewives of New York, like Cynthia in Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's kind of boring. She's very pretty, but boring. Carole, she's very pretty, but she's kind of boring too. I like her because she's smart. She's a journalist, but I don't know. She's kind of boring to me. But anyway, so yeah. Then the rest of the girls arrive. So Bethenny and Carole finally arrive in the Berkshires. And when she gets there, when Bethenny gets there, there's some flowers waiting on her. And I thought it was cute that her boyfriend Dennis sent her flowers. And we finally get to see Dennis in the last episode. He's a really handsome guy. And I just thought it was weird that her name was spelled wrong. And I was just like, did he spell her name wrong? Or did the people who sent the flowers spell her name wrong? I was just like, how do you not spell? I don't know. But I guess it's the thought that counts. So that was cute. And so, yeah, all the ladies sort of scatter a little bit, but all of them are having similar conversations. It's all about Luann and Tom. It's just like, oh my goodness, how long are y'all going to spend talking about Luann? Luann has become all of these ladies' storyline, in my opinion. Like, they all spend their time talking about Luann. Everything is about Luann. Luann and Tom. I mean, they might as well like get a tattoo of Luann and Tom's names, because they are so obsessed. Like, I feel bad for Luann, because it's gotta be difficult to know you have to go around these girls, because you're on the show, so you have to be around them. To know that you have to be around them, but they're only really saying negative things about your relationship, about your partner, and all this stuff. I feel bad for Luann. Actually, it must be not only difficult, but embarrassing. I would think it's embarrassing. Like, who would want to deal with that? And, it just is crazy. And so then Carole starts talking about how, they all pulled Dorinda in one room. And they're saying that Dorinda, I guess, told them last year that if they have any more information about Tom, they should go through her first. And she should be the one to tell Luann, because she's the one who hooked Tom and Luann up. And she's the only one invited to the wedding. I think she's a bridesmaid in the wedding and everything. So I guess they wanted to do what she asked for. And so they all pull her aside and they're like, girl, we got to tell you about what Tom has been up to. And they all just start like unloading. And Carole is like, yeah, I heard this. And Bethenny's like, I heard that. And they're talking about how, he's still talking to his ex. And Bethenny, I think, says that he's contacting a different woman and he's actually having an affair with that woman. And he's supposedly supporting her. She didn't say how he was supporting her, but I'm guessing like financially or something he's supporting her. And I'm just like, what? Like, it's just drama on top of drama on top of drama. And I just feel so bad because it's like, everybody is talking about her business and she's not even there yet. It's just like a repeat of last season when the whole thing happened when they were in Florida and everybody knew her business before her. So now they all are sitting around telling Dorinda, because Dorinda wanted to know before, anybody took it back to Luann what was going on. So they're telling Luann all this stuff. They're telling Dorinda all this stuff about Luann and about Tom and about their relationship. And I just felt so bad for Luann watching it, because I'm like, she doesn't even know. She's like getting there and she's going to walk right into the lion's den. And I think they pretend to be, doing it from a good place. But Sonia is, in my opinion, she's behaved like she's jealous of their relationship. In my opinion, Ramona has behaved at times like she was jealous of the relationship. I don't think Bethenny is jealous, but I think that Bethenny just doesn't like Luann, so she doesn't mind spilling the beans. Carole doesn't like her because they've gotten into it. They, say they patch things up, but they're not really friends. So it's just like these girls kind of pretend like, oh yeah, we're looking out for her. Honestly, I do question all of these ladies' intentions. Honestly, I think maybe Luann's only true friend in this entire group may just be Dorinda. I don't believe that Sonia's still Luann's friend. I don't believe Ramona. I don't believe that. Well, Bethenny hasn't proclaimed to be a friend, which is one reason why I do like Bethenny. She's honest. She doesn't, she doesn't bullshit. She tells you the truth. And I do like that. She doesn't pretend to be your friend if she's not. I respect that. Carole doesn't pretend to be her friend. I think that Sonia and Ramona both pretend, but I don't think that they are. And Tinsley's just getting to know her, so I don't think Tinsley's really involved in this particular situation. Honestly, I think it's only Dorinda. Luann's only friend in this group is Dorinda right now. Hopefully it changes soon, but I don't know. I don't know if I would trust any of these girls to be my friend after that, especially Sonia and Ramona, who have just seemed like really underhanded in some of the things. Like they've been trying to pull up as much dirt as possible and all this stuff. I'm just like, girl, with friends like these, who needs enemies? And so, finally Luann arrives last. And when she gets there, Dorinda's telling her everything. And she's like, well, how do you feel about it? I like the way that Dorinda told her, because she broke it to her. She broke everything down to her like a friend would, and tried to not sugarcoat it, but let her down easy, like not try to like throw it in her face like, oh my God, girl, guess what they're saying about you? Like she was just like, here are the things that's being said and how do you feel? Do you trust him? And Luann was like, she did trust him and everything, and she doesn't go through cell phones and all that stuff. Dorinda says she does, but Luann's like, I don't go through cell phones and all that. I just trust him and that's it. So hopefully they do have that trust where they can stand in this, and have this relationship for the long haul and this marriage for the long haul. Because I believe they're already married by now, so, because I think they were supposed to be getting married New Year's Eve or something like that. So, hopefully everything works out for them. But the way these girls are talking about all these rumors, I'm like, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. And Luann might want to start questioning whether or not Tom is being as upfront and as honest as he could be. Because this just sounds kind of fishy. Like, it's just one story after another, after another, after another. Now, granted, you could argue that because these girls aren't friends of hers, you know, they're fishing for stuff, or maybe they're just taking rumor and spreading it like it's fact. But it's just like one thing after another, after another. After a while, you start to say like, wow, is there something there? So I don't know. And then, you know, the same lady, Barbara, who's supposedly Luann's friend, but I doubt that. She was also saying that she doesn't think that Luann really wants to get married, but she kind of doesn't want to have egg on her face and admit that everybody else was right about him. So she's going to go, she would rather go through with the wedding than be embarrassed by calling it off. So she's going to go through with, she thinks that Luann is going to go through with the wedding just because she wants to prove everybody wrong or something, like she has something to prove. So, you know, but like, once again, how was that a real friend? Would your real friend really say that about you to somebody you were just beefing with? Like, this Barbara chick, she might be a really nice lady in general, but in that moment, she was not being a very good friend to Luann. That's just my opinion. Whether she's telling the truth or not, that's beside the point. The point is, if you're really my friend, whether what you're saying is true or not, there's some things you just don't tell to people, and you don't go and talk to people who are or once were my enemies about my personal business when you know they've already been talking trash about my relationship to begin with. Like, real friends don't do that. So I don't know. Luann, she might want to be very cautious, because with friends like these, who needs enemies? I mean, I know that's an old saying, but you know, it's kind of true in this case. So yeah, that happened. And then, you know, before I go, I have to get on Sonia, because she has been giving Tinsley hell. And this was just like the dumbest fight at the end of the episode, where I guess Tinsley wanted Connor, and I don't know if Connor is Sonia's assistant or is he an intern, because, you know, Sonia is known for having interns, and then she calls them her assistant, but really they're just interns and she doesn't have to pay them and all that stuff. And hey, if they're willing to do it and they get class credit for it or whatever it is, then kudos to them, and kudos to her, because she's saving money. But excuse me, God. So anyway, the way that Sonia was talking to Tinsley really bothered me, because I guess Tinsley had a package coming with some hats or something like that, and she wasn't going to be home, so she asked Connor to get the package when the doorbell rings or something. Answer the door and grab the package for me, and you know, that's it. Well, turns out that's not it, because Sonia gets mad and she's like, you can't have him answering the door for you, because if he answers the door for you, he can't help me with whatever I'm doing. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing that's so important that he can't take 2 minutes to go to answer the door, take the box, put it on the table or put it on the floor or whatever, and then go back to whatever he was doing? Like, she acts like she's in her townhouse curing cancer. Like, girl, if you don't stop. And like, Sonia, for a long time, Sonia was my favorite New York housewife, but it's beyond being a diva. She's just melodramatic. It's like, girl, stop. You act like this man is helping you with like some major secrets, or he's guarding you, or is he your security and you're like the biggest superstar in the world? Like, no, like, he's sitting around in your townhouse. Maybe he's helping you with some paperwork or something. Maybe it's with one of her 150 companies, because you know, every season she's got a new business. I mean, I like Sonia, but girl, you were trying it. He can't answer the door to get a box of hats because he's that busy. Like, really? What are you doing? Nothing. Nothing that deep. Like, come on, Sonia. Sonia, to call you dramatic is like an insult to people who are dramatic. You are way beyond dramatic. You are just like over the top for no reason. It was just unnecessary. And I don't like the way she talks to Tinsley. I feel like she talks down to Tinsley. I remember in one episode, Tinsley said something like, you know, I sleep in her daughter's room and I think she's starting to treat me like I'm her kid or something like that. And I kind of agreed watching this episode. Like, and I was happy that Tinsley finally stood up for herself too, because I think that she's been letting Sonia get away with like making little snide comments and snide remarks. And Sonia is just going after her for the smallest, dumbest things. And I'm just like, Sonia, you're better than that. Like, I remember when I've been watching this Real Housewives of New York since season 1. when Sonya first came on the show was when I think Kelly Bensimon was there, and y'all remember that whole thing on the island and all that stuff. And Sonya was so level-headed, but so fun and funny and silly, and she, I think, won a lot of the viewers over, myself included. And watching her this season and last season, I was just like, what happened to that Sonya? Like, I don't know if she's full of herself now, or, you know, she's gotten the big head from the fame, or what is going on with her, but she's just not as nice and not as fun and not as silly, not as easygoing. You know, this whole stuff, watching her do the whole thing with Tom, and it's just like, girl, you are doing way too much. And I really hated the way she spoke to Tinsley. And what was it about her digging her finger? I don't know if y'all caught that, but it's a part where after she finishes arguing with Tinsley, she digs her finger in the mashed potatoes, and it's like a big bowl that everybody's eating. And I know that that's like not a big deal for most people, but to me, I was just like, it's one thing if you're at home and you're doing that at your house, but you are in Dorinda's home, and I'm guessing everybody's going to eat those mashed potatoes because it was in a pretty big bowl, like enough to feed all the people there, and you're sticking your finger in it, and it was, and she's like licking it off her fingers. I'm just like, ew, girl. Like, I don't have OCD, but stuff like watching that could have given it to me. Like, ugh, child. That was disgusting. And maybe I'm just annoyed with her because I don't like the way she is treating Tinsley. I don't like the way she's speaking to Tinsley. I think it's wrong. And the fact that she's like yelling at her, even though all the ladies weren't there, you're yelling at her in Dorinda's house. You know what I mean? It was just so crazy. And it's just like every time they go to the Berkshire, something happens. Last year, it was Bethenny versus Luann. This year, I don't know what's going to happen, but watching Sonya with Tinsley, like, I really like Tinsley. I think she's a great addition. I really don't like the way Sonya has treated her. I want Sonya to go back to being the old Sonya, like the fun Sonya, because this Sonya is kind of like a mean girl Sonya, and I'm not here for it. But anyway, let me know if you were here for it or you weren't, what you liked, what you didn't. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time. Once again, this is your girl, Shay, and I enjoyed the episode. Let me know if you did too. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you for coming to Writer's Vlogs. In the description box, you'll find
links to our social media,
blog,
and anything else you need to know.
Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Mwah!